and welcome to my podcast, Knitting Books, etc. My name is Cristina, and you can find me in Ravelry and other social networks as Puella63. This is my third podcast, I think, or fourth. I'm not sure. Anyway, today is the 14th of November, and I come to you from Lisbon, Portugal. In this podcast, I will be talking a little bit about knitting. I've got a finished object, so I'm going to start to almost finished. So I actually have it. It's a pair of mittens, and I was going to start weaving in the end, so I put them inside out. I'm going to put them in the correct position. So these are a free pattern in Ravelry, which is called Mittens for Mimi, I think. I'll check it out in a minute. And it's a very easy and fast pattern because it's in DK yarn. So I actually knitted the second mitten in one day, so this is very easy. And I like them a lot. They are sums here, and I find them so easy and to knit that I decided to make a template in Excel and to create my own patterns with this number of stitches and for this type of yarn. So I'll show you the pattern, which I think I have here. 1 minute. Here, it's here. Yes, Mittens for Mimi, and it's a free pattern on Ravelry. And the yarn I'm using, or I used, was Rowan Pure Wool Superwash DK. So this is the blue color, and the natural color is Pure Wool Superwash DK Rowan as well. So these were leftovers from some jumpers I made for my little nephews, and I was also given another color in green. So I think I'm going to make a new pair of mittens with green and natural. But I'm not sure which pattern I'm going to choose because I'm still going to pick up or draw a pattern. Oops. So this was I left them on the floor. This was my almost finished object, and as for works in progress, today I have brought here this cardigan, which I have already shown here, I think. And I brought it on purpose because I haven't worked on it very much. This last 2 weeks, I haven't picked it up, which is a shame because this is a very fast knit and interesting one. This is the Alias cardigan by Isabel Kramer, and it has some folk cables here and in the front too. So here, oh, I think I'm going to try to put it here, wear it, and to be able to show you. So this is the front, and it has this faux cable too here in each side, which is very easy to knit, and it's a very quick knit. But I stopped because I got interested in some other projects which I'm going to show you. And oh my, now I did it. Lost my needle here. Let me catch the yarn. The yarn is actually a very nice yarn to work with. I'll show you in a minute, but as you can see, the stitches are all here. They don't start to slide because this is a very nice yarn. So let me pick up all the stitches, and then okay. So Alias by Isabel Kramer. And the yarn is Fonty. I brought here one Fonty Super Tweed, and it is, what do they say, 95% wool, 5% mohair, and it says it's superwash wool. So here you have the, and it's a nice green tweed yarn with full of specks of several colors, as you can see here. I picked it up today because I wanted to know more or less where I was. I have to measure it, and because in this pattern, when you start increasing a bit, and then you have pockets, so I need to see where I am in the pattern, and if I don't think I'm too far away from the pockets, so I need to check that. So the other pattern I'm working on is the Timely. It's a cardigan by Truly Myrtle, and this is the cardigan. It's a striped little cardigan that you wear mostly open, although it has buttons. And this has been my traveling knitting. So my commuting knitting, if you want, when I have to catch 2 buses to work, and so because this is plain stocking stitch knitting, I have been traveling with this one. So this is where I am, more or less at half height, I think. I am decreasing for the waist, and then I will have some increases, and then the rib in the main yarn, which is this color here, gray. So this is a very pleasant, relaxing, mindful knitting. So just coming and going. It's not boring because of the stripes. So, and I love how the color, the blue, which is not variegated but semi-solid color, and the grays look. So the yarn I have this is the blue yarn, and they are both Porsche yarns, and the blue is Marta, which is 80% merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% nylon, I think. So here it is, and the gray here, I have much more. So the gray skein I opened had a knot, and so I had to break the yarn, and I have another skein of this color, which is also Porsche yarn, and the base is Esme, which is superwash merino sock yarn. So they are both fingering yarns, and this one, the color is Caught in the Rain. This one I have two skeins. The blue one, oops, I have only one. So I'm also going to see where I am in the body, because I will need this one for the sleeves, although the sleeves are not, they are 3/4 sleeves, as you can see here. I will have to check the yarn for the sleeves and to divide it. What I'm going to do is, when the stripy section here finishes, I'll stop the body and I will work on the sleeves before I'll make the rib, which is it's a large one here, as you can see. So I am enjoying this very much, and again, it's a good traveling project. But now, oops, I always letting things follow. Okay, my main entertainment these last 2 weeks has been my exploration station shawl. So I think I showed you last time that I had started knitting the shawl, I think. Again, I'm sorry, but I'm always confused because I podcast. I have a podcast in Portuguese, which I alternate with this one. So I'm permanently confused because I don't remember what I spoke here and what I spoke there. Also, I have to apologize because I completely forgot to write the show notes for the last episode. I'll try to be good and write the show notes for this one. And because I never rewatch my podcasts, I don't know what I spoke about. I only know it when I have my show notes, and I do them immediately after I record, because I didn't do it last time. I'm not sure what I showed you here. Anyway, this has been very, very entertaining, and I am very happy to say that I am almost at the end of the show. So this is my exploration station, my first but not my last, and I am using, to knitting it, I am using my zings, 4mm zings, but because they are, I prefer to knit in short circulars, because I don't like to be forever pulling and pushing the yarn. So normally I knit with this one, but I moved it to a large cable needle to show it better here. So let me try to show you, and I'll explain where I am. So this is my shawl as it is now. So this was a mystery call from 2014, and it's a shawl which is divided in sections, which are, in a way, they are short sections, so that it's a very easy call to, I don't know, it was a very call, but what I mean is that it's a very I'm trying to explain what it is and I cannot find my words. What I mean is that you always want to go on with this shawl because the sections are small and they are varied, so they are very different from each other, and that at least keeps you motivated. That's what I meant. So here the first section has these wedges, and you'll see that you have 4 colors. So color A, which is this gray, then color B, which is this darker green and blue green, green blue if you want. It's more green than blue. Color C, it's this one here, so the lighter green, and even lighter green is color D. And these are the 4 colors I'm using, and the shawl mentions 4 colors. So the first section is the section of the wedges, and as you can see, you repeat the 4 colors twice. So I have here A, B, C, D, and then B, C, and D. So the gray then it's only in the separating each wedge. After this section, which I guess it will be the first clue of the mystery call, I don't know, you have a brioche section, which is so funny, and I liked it a lot actually. And it's with 2 colors, B and C. So this is the right side, you see this, and you can see that it's very elastic, very plump, I would say. And then in the other side you have the other color, and you can see this how it is. So this section flew because brioche is very easy, and it's funny to knit. Then you have all these sections are separated by the gray section, and you then have with colors C and D you have a slip stitch section, which also not as interesting as the brioche knitting, but also flew because each section is pretty small in a way. So it was funny to knit and quick. And then you have another section which is stripes with the colors C and D. And I am now at the border. The border has a little bit of lace. So, and I think I have here. I know I brought here the pattern just to show you a picture of the shawl. Here it is. So this is the picture of the shawl, and I am already at the gray section here doing this lace here. So a funny shawl, very easy, very quick, and I think I want to make lots of shawls like this in different color combinations. So this was my first, and I'll show you now the yarn I'm using. I must say that I used this yarn because I had almost all the colors already in balls, so I wound the yarn for another project, and then I only had to do to wind this yarn here. So this is color A, and it is not this one, this is from the other. So it is Posh yarn again. Today these projects are almost all with Posh yarn, which is one of the dyes I most like. The color is Defying Gravity, and the base is Erin, which is 85% superwash, 15% Donegal tweed naps, and it's you can see them here, the naps. So it's a tweedy yarn full of little surprises. Then color B was this one. He is this one here. This is leftover, so this will be enough for some other project. And it's a blue-green yarn, and it is Whistle-top Tool. I think that's what the color. And the base is Elinor, which is Superwash Pure Merino. The other color C, is Marta, which is 80% merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon, and it's the colorway Castaway. And finally, the D color is Debbie Bliss Fine Donegal in a light green. This is a 3D yarn too, and it's 95% wool, 5% cashmere, and the color is, well, color 54003. So here it's the information on the yarn. And again, I do recommend this shawl because it's very, very entertaining. And again, I am loving it, and I am almost at the end. I guess that next time I'll have another FO. And that's what I have for you in this podcast regarding knitting. One more thing though. I told you that I liked so much those mittens for Mimi, which are stranded color work in DK yarn. I am drawing or making a template to knit many more mittens like that, and I am going to use some patterns or some ideas from this book here, Selbuvota. This is a book I asked a friend to bring from Norway because the book, it's still only sold in Norwegian, and I have here the receipt. So it was bought in Oslo in a Norli bookshop, I think. And although this book is in Norwegian, you have, so the beginning, I think it has the Selbu mittens history, which of course I cannot understand because I don't know Norwegian, but it says here so I think it's it has some pictures, but then the great majority of the book are graphs with lots and lots and lots of drawings and ideas and patterns for mittens, and actually I think patterns that you can use in lots of things. So you have patterns for the outside part of your hand. Then you have these you have lots and lots of different types of patterns. Then you have also ideas that you can use in thumbs, like this here. Then you have ideas that you can use in the palm part of the mitten. So those normally they are smaller, tinier designs. You have lots of ideas for the rib part of your mitten. When I mean rib, it's the wrist, because some mittens might have rib in your wrist, some others don't. They have knitting, plain knitting, and stranded knitting, sorry. And these are the ideas of the, I don't know what you call ribbons or something that you have. And then you have lots of them, lots and lots. This is packed full with ideas. Then you have for the inside, so the palm side of your hand, some more patterns. This is a treasure, I'd say. You have lots of ideas of mittens. So here, it's an example. Almost every 2 pages you have photos of mittens. Again, more inside patterns for the inside or the outside. You can also make mittens with this type of pattern on the outside. And then you have instructions to knit. Of course, I don't understand the text, but you have graphs, and the graphs are pretty much, you have some gloves too. So here, for example, you have graphs for gloves with fingers, and then you have instructions for mittens with graphs too, like this. So I can use one of these examples and then use several different patterns to, in a way, create my mittens. So my idea is to use the number of stitches that I used in those mittens for Mimi. So there they are. They I'm trying to find them to show you again. So I'm going to follow more or less the recipe for this mitten here with the same structure. I like this this border that very often is present between the front and the back of the mitten. So in the side, where is it? Here. So this line here. So I'm going to follow this structure, but choose different patterns for the inside and the outside of the hand. I'm also going to do, instead of doing ribbing here, I will choose a pattern that I will do here too. So those are my plans. I hope that next time I'll record, I can show you what I imagine at least and what I do. Meanwhile, I do recommend this book, which is kind of infinite treasure of patterns and ideas, and it smells great too. So this is the end of the knitting part. I will be talking a little bit about books I am reading and enjoying too in the next section. So, for books, I've been reading the books I mentioned last time. So, in my Kindle, I remember that I showed you 2 books. One is called Fully Engaged, and it's by Thomas Turner, and it's about living more mindfully your day to day. It's kind of a more, or he tries to be more practical in his previous book, which is The Practicing Mind, he talked about. I have to say that I liked the previous book a lot more. I don't know if it's because it was an audiobook and I listened to it lots of times. It was well read by the author. I don't know. But I am going, or I intend to reread this book. It's a type of book that you want to think about the ideas he talks about, and so I will reread the book again. I'm still reading the other book about taking 1 day per week to, in a way, get unplugged and relax and enjoy without any stress and without thinking of work or duties, if you want. And I'm also continuing my audiobook marathon of the J.D. Robb books. They are crime stories where the main character is Eve Dallas. I have already I'm finishing my I don't know how many the books I had already read. They are more, I think there are 40 books, and now I'm preparing to start reading the most recent ones, which I haven't bought yet. And but I intend to buy and listen to them because they are very funny and entertaining, although sometimes the stories are a little bit gruesome, but they are still funny and entertaining. Last week I also remembered a trilogy that I had in audio by Nora Roberts, and I started listening to the first one in the series while I'm knitting at the end of the day. Kind of a winding down part of the day. So it's called the Circle trilogy, and the first book is called Morrigan's Cross. What happened is that I started listening to that book and the story while I'm knitting at the end of the day, but then I got curious and I listened to the second one. I think it's called Dance of Gods, and the third one, Valley of Silence, while commuting to my work last week. So actually, yesterday I finished the third, and 2 days before I listened to the second one. So I listened to the second and the third while still listening to the first one, which I haven't finished. But that's how I function anyway. It's like the knitting. I'm always starting new things. With the reading, it's the same. So that's for audiobooks. Reading, I picked up a book I have had for some time, which is this one here. The Complete Tales of Winnie the Pooh by A. Milne. This is a lovely book. I bought this book when my son was born, so 20 years ago, I think. Or at least when he was very, very little. So the book is from 1994, and my son was born in 1997. So I think that I bought it. I actually don't know if he was already born or if it was before he was born. This is the Complete Tales of Winnie the Pooh with the original drawings by the Ernest Shepard with his illustrators. So this is the stories are sweet. Some could also be called philosophical, and the book is full of pictures like this one here, and the small pictures in each chapter, and it's lovely. It's a lovely book, lovely book. Even the beginning where you have the book plate here, and has some pictures which are full page pictures, and then of course you you have an introduction about the author A. Milne and his son Christopher Robin, which is a character in the book because these were stories that he would tell his son. Then we also have information about the artists who draw the pictures, and then you have lots of stories of because it's the complete stories of Winnie the Pooh. This is a lovely book which I think it's good to read to children aloud. It's good to read for older children to read, and it's good for adults to read too. So a lovely, lovely book with all the stories that many of us and the characters that many of us know. And it's been lovely. Who knew that I, who am 54 years old, would enjoy such a lovely children's book? But I think it's a good book for everyone. And again, I think that everyone would love to read these stories and see the images that the book has. And I don't think I have any more things, even for the etc. part of the podcast. I am just to tell you that I am podcasting in a corner near my kitchen because of the light. I think that my yarn room, or what I call my craft room, is in the cooler part of the house, so which only gets sun in the mornings. And it's actually very good because the great majority of time the weather is too hot to knit or to enjoy, so I prefer to have my craft room on the cooler side of the house. And this is the sunnier side because it has sun in the afternoon. But I think the light here is better than in the other room, so that's why today I am podcasting here. And I think this is all. I hope I will be back in 2 weeks, and I also hope that I won't forget the show notes this time. Until then, see you and happy knitting.